It was the turn of the millennium when many people in the media were accusing NGOs of being extremely corrupt. We said that we should look at our own affairs, the affairs of the voluntary sector, and see whether we can set up some form of norms for accountability.
I think there were about 8 or 10 organizations, some of them leading organizations of the sector, who wanted to frame some kind of a code of conduct. And that's how the thing got started. And the unique thing is that the whole effort is participative. It's not a code which has been set by anybody. These people came together, worked for days, weeks to come up with this code, and then they disseminated it.
The idea is at least a group of organizations can come out in the country and then say that we are at least fulfilling certain norms, we are fulfilling certain standards, and we are different from the crowd. So that is the great contribution of Credibility Alliance.
These norms were initially formulated by all of us sitting together in a participatory way, where we decided that we need certain norms for governance, we need certain norms for financial accountability, we also need some norms to look at programmatic areas. So these were designed.
These norms are very basic and address the basic questions of governance. Basic fiduciary kind of a checkup that the organizations are genuine, they are well governed, they know what they are about, and they are open.
When we at Give India were beginning to build our own criteria of what is a good NGO, and we realized that everybody is doing the same thing, whether it's us, whether it's HelpAge, whether it's TRI, whether it's CAF, everybody is trying to build their own criteria of what is a good NGO. At the end of the day, we are actually all looking at the same set of things. So, instead of each of us building our own norms, our own processes, etc., we felt very eager to participate in a process where all of us could come together and build one common standard that all of us could subscribe to. I think that is by far the biggest value I would see in something like the Credibility Alliance.
Once you are certified by Credibility Alliance, you can be recognized as an organization worth trusting, because there are problems for donors, government or private sector, how to identify good, valid, reliable NGOs.
I think this is the only organization in the country which accredits NGOs. In other words, what we're looking at is good governance practices, accountability, and that's what people are asking for. I mean, we are asking for NGOs who are accountable, who follow good practices. I don't think there is any other body in our country which provides this service. So this is a very, very important and unique service in our country.
The role of NGOs is growing in India and worldwide, and the government is also increasingly recognizing that and is looking towards a partnership with civil society. But then on the other hand, demands for accountability will also grow on our sector. And for us, organizations like Credibility Alliance, which really at the moment represent the only voluntary association of NGOs that come together who want to set a higher standard for the whole civil society sector, is a very important one. So Oxfam is working very closely with Credibility Alliance.
Over the last 3 decades, when the first trend of voluntary sector was on good faith, people with good faith, that means who wanted to do some work in the society, would sort of start an organization and do. But gradually, the number of organizations that have come into being, not many of them on good faith. Therefore, there is a need for good accountability right now in the sector.
The importance of Credibility Alliance is in promoting the notion of governance. Of course, governance is not only important in the nonprofit sector, but at the end of the day, governance is about how it is that resources are getting utilized, and that actually translates into impact.
The person who starts, the founders of that organization, want to in some way make a change. They're basically path breakers, they're agents of change. But what happens is in all this passion, it's also very important for them to set down systems and to have a transparent organization which is accountable to the community.
I would say credibility is actually very, very important in the non-profit sector, simply because we work on public funds and we work on issues that are relevant to the people at large. And when you try to raise questions around accountability of other stakeholders, whether it's corporates or government or others, it's very important that our house should be in order first.
It's not just enough to be good. No, you have to show that you are good also. Right? That is also required. Otherwise, people will mistake you. I think following these norms will easily give us this certificate from Credibility Alliance. We'll be able to easily show to anybody and then say that we have followed all these norms. So that we are credible.
We have made it a point that in every capacity building training that we organize at Pune at our own training institute, there is session devoted for good governance, and we talk about these norms and also about the good governance and transparency.
The process of accreditation has helped us set our processes in place and strengthen them. I think that was the first benefit, because through that process we got a lot of systems regularized, and having got the accreditation, I think it enhances our credibility when you go to a donor. And that has been the major advantage.
The voluntary sector is like a fish bowl. Everyone watches every move very carefully, and big corruption happens all over the place. Some is addressed, some is not addressed. We are all deeply aware of it. We definitely need a mechanism which Credibility Alliance is trying to put in place for as many voluntary sector organizations as possible.
We are a 1.6 million strong voluntary sector. Today the Credibility Alliance has less than 500 members. So that is a big challenge. This is not spread to the entire sector.
Over the years, I've seen Credibility Alliance evolve as a much accepted set of norms. The only question is, or perhaps my concern is, that this acceptance of these norms has not been as fast as we would have liked it to be.
I think in the future, accountability initiative has to be deepened, and Credibility Alliance is the right organization at this point of time, positioned nationally to play that role.
I believe it's an effort or an initiative whose time has come. It is gaining recognition both here, nationally as well as internationally. And in the years to come, we'll be seeing that it will be making a major contribution to building up the credibility of the sector.